Hey folks, welcome back to the cabin build. In today's video, we're going to be looking at getting most of these walls finished, and I'm going to show you this UFO sander. Plus, we have some really big news later on in the video, so do stick around for that. It's a big announcement. So I know I probably had a bit of a moan in the last video about this whole procedure and how I'd much prefer to be skimming and you don't have to sand and all that sort of business, and it's probably quicker overall, but we are where we are. We've saved whatever we worked it out to be. Someone in the comments gave an estimate. I think I said 20 bags. I think it's probably going to be nearer 30 bags, which would have been 600-700 kilo of plaster if we had skimmed. So I've bought a load of sanding pads. These ones, the sort of mesh ones, where the dust doesn't stick to them quite the same way, so they should last longer. But they've sent a bunch with it. And a little bit like the festival one, but nowhere near as fancy. It's got a light, so you can see it's going to kind of shine the LED light out onto the wall. Then you'll pick up on any bumps and lumps. Do we need instructions? Loosen sleeve nut, insert the dust extraction hose, tighten up. The integral protection stand, how that's that? Allows the machine to stand against the wall. Oh, I see, so it doesn't slip off. Absolute pay. Finding things to match. I mean, unless that would go, I reckon, like other ones, they've made this suit their own thing and don't give two hoots about anyone else. Ooh. Another one. Yeah. Hey? Ah. It leaves quite a lot of swirl marks, doesn't it? Even on 180. Can't paint that. Typical me just being super impatient. That room isn't actually dry yet, nor is it ready for sanding. What we want to do is everything's at almost the same stage now, second coat stage, or ready for its third coat. But I want to make sure we knock off any high spots, any lumps and bumps before we get this final one. I haven't bought too much. Got Easy Fill 60 to use. So as long as I've got minimal bits left on there, I should be able to skim it out fairly well, which means nowhere near as much sanding on the last bit. I'm going to take a break from all that. I promised you some news. The news is that we would love you to do us a favour. Well, that's part and parcel of it. The new channel is now live, DIY Farm, which is going to be the home to all of our farm-related content from now on over on Instagram and here on YouTube, is now live, went live today. Our Patreons have been over there for the last 24 hours as well, getting started, getting subscribed. It's going to be good. It won't take away from this channel, fear not. It's just a way of keeping things separate as we start on the house build, as we start on restoring the buildings. That's what the heart of this channel is all about. The DIY farm is going to be all about everything out there. The livestock, the field, the management, the fencing, the gates, the bridges, all the cool stuff we've got planned for the next few years. That's going to be on the DIY farm channel. They're going to be very closely linked. They're going to be sister channels. And what we would love is if you could head over there now, subscribe. I'll put the link down here and up here and just about everywhere. Get it kick-started, and then we can keep putting out that content. We've got about 3 weeks worth of content already lined up, so we can kind of concentrate on this. So the next 3 weeks, there's everything from fencing the bottom, the hill field. We've had Tom here with his tractor. We've had 2 or 3 new additions on the farm. Load of sheep videos, a lot going on out there. And also, a big thing is we shot a full feature-length video with Ben Taylor Davis. He has become our farm mentor, and he's just an amazing wealth of knowledge that we're going to try and share with you guys as well. He's just given us a real insight into what we should be doing, what we can do, you know, regenerating it and getting new stuff started, both a way of using what we already have, but also what we can do to change it up. We shot about an hour and a half full length video, so that's going to be going over on Patreon. And we were digging up fields, we were checking things and exploring the whole farm basically from his point of view, and what nature's doing, what it's not doing, and how we can utilize our space in the best way possible by layering different uses of the land and grazing in certain ways. Really exciting stuff, and we're going to be using snippets from that in other videos over on the DIY Farm channel. But it doesn't end there. We've got a whole year or so planned already of bridges, tracks, fencing, gates, all sorts of stuff, tree planting, hedge planting, pond management, dredging, you know, you name it, it's going on out there. And for over the next couple of years, it's going to be a lot of big changes. And we want to just put that in one place. So DIY Farm is the place to be. Here's a little sneak peek trailer to show you what it's all about. Last winter, we did something crazy. We sold our family home and we bought a farm. By early spring, it was time for some new additions. Our flock of clean sheep, and then the South Downs. With a young family, things tend to take a little bit longer than they might do otherwise, but we have plenty of fun along the way. It's going to be really fun, but I've got walls to sand, so let's jump back into that. Right, just finished dipping my chocolate digestive. So I've managed to get on with Dad yesterday and could do the third coat. Doesn't look like it here because I just rubbed back a bit, but third coat is done now on nearly all of the building, apart from 2 bedrooms down the far end. Bizarrely, I've been to 2 builders merchants today, and they looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language when I asked for easy fill or a joint compound or anything like that. It was either multi-finish, or multi-finish, or maybe bonding if I was lucky. So I'm going to need to go back to Bradford tomorrow to buy 1 more bag of easy fill, and that will be enough because I've got 2 small reams of second coat, and then some fine finishing, which I think I can do after my first coat of paint. Now, I didn't get too much time to play around with it yesterday because we just carried on with the actual skimming. But I just started out with the sander. It's working all right, actually. One thing we realised is most of the grits that come with it, or the ones I bought separately, are too coarse. We really want to just keep this really fine. So I've switched to 240. The only problem with 240 is it clogs up. So this is a regular sort of red sandpaper type disc, and it will clean off a bit more. Whereas all the other ones I bought were the net type, sort of mesh, and they're much easier to stay clean. They seem to last longer. I just didn't buy any in 240. But this lighting, for what is a relatively inexpensive tool, it was £140, I think, with both arm attachments and standing discs. The fact it's got these lights, it's also got a different light here, which perhaps might be, just gives you a different angle so you pick up on different imperfections. But really, this UFO LED jobby that's going on here. If I was to turn off these lights behind me, it would show you even more that as you go across, you can really see what you need to tackle. Now I've done this bit here and sanded down. Obviously we feathered out as much as we could when we actually troweled it on, so there wasn't too much to do. There are some lumpy bits down the bottom, that's to be expected, which I might need to swap out for maybe a 180 or something like that. Some really good comments in the last video. Thanks for all the tips. Not sure how much of it I've taken on board, but I've done my best. We've got to a point now where these are ready to sand. I've probably feathered out more than I need to, and I was just getting a bit skim happy. These shouldn't take too much sanding now. I did use Easy Fill. A few people on the fence there, but Easy Fill is so smooth and easy to mix and easy to sand. And that's what I've gone with, and I could really trowel it out and feather it. I mean, I can barely feel the transition there between paper and plaster. So it shouldn't take much more than a little light tickle with the sander. And I'm going to scrape off a couple of lumps. That was it. Now I'm not sure I'll give my full-on verdict on this until I've used it a little bit longer. But it's the Evolution sander. And I will leave a link in case you want to have a look for yourself. But like I said, for the time being, I'm just going to play around with it and see how we get on. I've got it connected to my vacuum, which is a fine filter, but I would normally wear a dust mask as well. But because I'm going to be talking to you, I won't, just for this little patch. And it seems to be that most of the dust is being extracted nicely. But already, putting it here, I can see there's a few bits that definitely need sanding, mainly where I've just reached up and just blobbed a little bit over a screw hole. But we'll see how we get on. Honestly, that is a pretty impressive job. Really pleased with that. I mean, it's fluffed up the paper ever so slightly, but no way near, like it's not chewing through it like a heavier grit would. That is definitely up to standard for me. Anything beyond that will show up once it's painted. The only thing I can't do is get right into the corners, so I'll do that by hand. But I'm impressed. It came up with another arm, so I think you can go to 3 meters or something like that. So I guess that's for ceilings. It's weighty. It's not like the Festool one, which I do see now and then on Instagram, which looks cool because the suction of the vacuum holds it to the wall. You can almost let go and it will hold it there. So it's more like a hovercraft in that you don't need to use quite the same strength. What I want to do is get to a point where this end of the building is mist coated, primed, ready to go. Whether I spray my final coat or roll it, I don't know yet. But the main priority is to get this end clean because the kitchen's arriving. Kitchen arrives next week. Once it's here, I don't really want to be spraying around it. I mean, I'm sure it comes packaged. But of course, I can't fit my windows either until we are sprayed in here because I don't want a mask. So I don't really want to start painting until I can do all the rooms in one, because that's the most efficient way to do it. But I can certainly get this end completely clean over the weekend, vacuumed and everything, so it is ready to go. And then I've only got those 2 rooms to finish down the other end. You'll see here out on the floor, I'm trying to dry out these battens. I bought a load of roofing batten today. We've got to batten out our ceiling, and that needs to be done over the top of these boards once they're taped, where I've got these fixings holding in, so I can actually replace the washers that I've plastic washers I'm holding that insulation up with, and the battens are holding up. They're going to be at 600 sensors, and our lightweight ceiling paneling is going to go up onto those, which means they need to be relatively dry. There's probably a 2-week window between now and the paneling arriving, but they've obviously been out in the yard at the builder's merchant, so they are in here, hopefully going to dry out a bit. Joe's picked out the flooring as well, so that's exciting, and that's probably the one thing I'm looking forward to fitting the most. I'm looking forward to the windows being in, because I think that would just be a nice feeling, but I can't wait to floor. I love doing flooring, and it's always a point in time where everything's clean, everything's decorated, all the messy stuff's done. There'll be a bit of second fix trim and stuff still to do, but getting the floor down is going to be a big win. But I don't want to do it too soon. Well, there we go, not much visible progress, but we are making progress, and this time next week, I promise you, somehow or other, I will find it in myself to get this whole place painted and ready for windows. If not, might have some glazing in. We've got this door over here ordered today. We've got the front door in. It's all happening. We're running out of light. We've got to go. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and then head over and subscribe to DIY Farm. Thanks for watching. See you next time.